welcome again. This, like I said, this is an open forum, so feel free to share your thoughts, questions. We'll kickstart with some of the questions we received over email about why DevOps toolchains are getting complex. Why is automation needed, toolchain automation important, and how can you go about it in your organizations? And we'll also open it up to questions. And there were some questions about how does Opsera solve this. So time permitting, we will also do a demo. With that, let me have Kumar and Shrey introduce themselves. And folks, you can introduce yourself on the chat. Let's make this active and live, a live discussion, so it's useful for all. And we'll also enable talking permissions so you can jump in and participate. Kumar, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sushmita. Thanks everyone for joining. Happy Thursday. Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, good morning as well for those of you in different time zones. So we would like to cover the DevOps tools and automation standardization. Before we do that, quick intro about myself. Kumar Chivukula, co-founder and CTO of Opsera. We want to make it an interactive session, and we'll also cover the quick summary about Opsera as part of the summary. But I would like to have Shrey introduce himself before we get started.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Shrey. I'm a software engineer at Opsera. So been on Opsera for about a year and a half, mostly working on pipelines and orchestration. So yeah, excited for the session. Thanks again for everyone for joining. So I think maybe we could do a quick a note about Opsera before we begin. So Opsera is a DevOps tool which offers CI/CD pipelines with zero coding involved in CI/CD pipeline automation. Along with that, you have the ability to create declarative pipelines, and there's also unified insights across the CI/CD system. I think, and this really ties in well to the topic of interest today, because teams are always challenged with either like manually coding and integrations with their tool stack, or like they're either locked into using like a single vendor to take benefit from the integrations. But through Opsera, we offer the ability to spin up and integrate the tools of your choice across different cloud platforms, and basically being agnostic to the tools, so you can create a fully automated CI/CD pipeline. Feel free to add anything, Kumar.
Yeah. I think the goal is to provide the no-code DevOps orchestration, and where we want to be the white box way of doing it. There are solutions out there where you have to go and rip and replace. Opsera is like, from our experience talking to various industry experts. When we started this journey, we saw the bunch of pain points where people are spending a lot of time. And can you go back to the previous slide? Maybe that's the setup. That's the one we have. Somebody of what the current pain points and challenges.
Yeah, we had some questions over email about people's perspectives on why toolchains are getting complex. So we wanted to summarize that and also talk about why toolchain automation is important. So thanks, Kumar. Take it away.
Yeah. So the one thing you see that in the current landscape, and if you see that in the particular company, there are multiple development teams. Each development team and each engineering team wanted to have their own set of tools, and it's not their fault, because they feel they're comfortable with their own technology stack, their own language. Certain tools are really good at supporting Java stacks. Certain tools are good at Kubernetes stacks. Certain tools good at VMs or serverless. From the technology standpoint of view, maybe some tools are really good at Node.js or React, or maybe like a combination of all of them, right? So people pick the tools that are good for their use cases and purpose-built. Sometimes they pick the purpose-built tools. Because of that, each team is having their own DevOps tools, but they're spending time in writing the glue code, integration, managing them on a daily basis. On top of it, we imagine that if you have 3 more teams that are with 3 to 5 teams, that you have development teams, they all have their individual DevOps tool stack. The problem is getting compounded for the companies. And on average, we've seen about 15 to 20 tools that in any given organization, that is it ranges from code commit to from a code continuous integration, code repository, your ITSM, your quality security, CD tools, and repository management tools. These are the things like 8 to 9 categories, and not to mention configuration management in between, right? So like also if you add the new set of tools that are popping up in the market, like with the Terraform and CloudFormation also getting mainstream with infrastructure as a code, and an average about 15 to 20 tools. and the teams are spending a lot of time in managing and maintaining them. It's about 2 to 3 months for them to just basic setup, infrastructure setup, the containers, load balancer, security group, infrastructure, what have you. And then on top of it, they have to make the tools work and make it work in a seamless fashion using RBAC mechanism, and so that they can give the federated access to the rest of the team. And what is happening in the current landscape in the last 12 to 24 months, the multi-cloud journey has been accelerated by many factors. Even before COVID, the people started going to multi-cloud. With the COVID, it just accelerated a lot of the customer journeys as well. On top of it, like the people are trying to release the more features to the customers. They want to put more features because of digital transformation and other aspects of that. And then technology changes. For example, you have a serverless, containers, you have functions, you have microservices. How do you keep up with all of them? And as a result of that, what we're noticing is, in talking to people and looking at the current stack, the technology landscape is changing. The complexity of the DevOps is going up, and every day by day. And then multi-cloud adoption is going up, and people are solving through by having more people, and also trying to manage it through some basic integration and like cobble it together. They're not really doing it in a way we are doing, say, in a self-service manner. So that's the problem statement that we saw in talking to various industry experts and companies, and becoming into, in a summary, managing toolchains are getting complex. It is costly affair and resource intensive. That's the problem statement. That's what we heard from the people in the industry and the panel at the various companies and execs as well.
Kumar, why is toolchain automation imperative today, and what are the benefits of toolchain automation? Definitely based on what you just said and what we heard, they are getting complex. So why is automation simplifies that, but what are the other benefits with toolchain automation?
So toolchain automation, great question. And the toolchain automation is important because that's the foundation of for companies to establish the DevOps platform, and where in which they can seamlessly move the releases. If the foundation is not done right, it's a challenge for the customers to do anything on top of it. And more of a second aspect of it is very important for the developers and the rest of the companies. You don't want to take away the choice and flexibility for the facts that we talked about it and the people that shared with us, right? So each technology stack is slightly different, and you can't solve it all with one tool or one stack. And you want to give provide the some standardization, but also provide the light governance and guardrails that people, instead of having a wild west and download every tool that you can possibly take it from internet and put it in an environment. If you can offer the toolchain automation in a self-service way, where the images are fully scanned, validated, and but you are not taking with choice and flexibility, but also giving the opportunity for the developers and DevOps team to provision the tools without waiting for 2-3 months, without worrying about the security aspects, without worrying about writing the glue code and integration. So with that, customers will have a choice. They will have a flexibility, but also have a way to validate the security and the quality aspects. Last but not least is about having the governance about who is using it, how many tools you have, and you can have inventory, and you can also have a monitor of what the use is of that. You can get a lot of benefits around that. So not just the choice and tool for flexibility, it's about the governance, it's about the offering in a self-service manner, and also doing it in a way where in which people don't have to solve it through by having a bunch of people sitting there and doing manual configurations.
Yeah, I think I just want to add, I think as a developer like myself, like I definitely agree that I would rather spend time or my resource in like developing either the next feature or the current feature, rather than making sure that the code is properly promoted to each environment. Like if that process is smoothened out and it's intuitive, then I can actually spend more time on developing features. And then there's also the ability that releases can be smaller and features can be pushed out more frequently and tested easily. So as a developer, I think toolchain automation is a gift.
Great points, Shrey.
Yeah, maybe if you don't mind, if you can quickly introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kevin Railsback. I lead technical operations for OpenFit, so DevOps and SRE and security and all those good things. I've been sort of in touch and working with the Opsera guys for quite a while now, a year and a half or so. Did a POC at my previous company, and I'm just sort of joining to see what's going on and keep up to date and join the conversation.
Excellent. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thanks for your support and
Kevin.
thanks for
Awesome.
joining. Gautam, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I'm Gautam. I work for BNY. Now I just wanted to know what are the things on Opsera and stuff. Just want to explore.
Great. Thank you. What do you do at BNY?
I'm a QA automation engineer.
Excellent. Thanks for joining. At this point, let me run a quick poll. I would like to know, we talked about how it's getting complex, but want to dig into the specifics from the attendees today. How many tools do you have in your environment today? Do you provide toolchain automation as a self-service to your internal teams? How do you provision, integrate, and manage your toolchains today? Oh, wow, this is in line with what we've been hearing. And actually, I'm quite surprised that, or I should say, I'm not surprised that 33% of you here have 10 plus tools, right? Kumar, you want to comment on that?
No, I think this is I expected the mixed results like this, but I was surprised to see that the second question and it's more of 5 people. Self-service is only one side, one area, but not other. I was expecting somewhere around 60-40, but it's pretty in line with what we're hearing from the customers, what we're seeing in the industry right now.
Got it. Yeah. Shrey, any comments from you?
No, I think it's actually nice. It's amazing that as a developer, the automation of self-service is being provided to teams. So I'm shocked at how high the percentage is, but it's nice to see.
Great. I think companies are beginning to understand how important that is, and they're beginning to act. So it's good to see that traction and the rest. And it's also a signal for the rest of the guys to wake up and take care of it.
Yeah. So I think like some other questions that we got were about governance and compliance and how that relates to like toolchain automation. So I think one thing I was thinking about that is I think governance, like in a DevOps toolchain or pipeline, I think it shouldn't be thought of like as a set of restrictive rules, but I think it should be looked at as more of like a process for risk management. I think it's basically like a list of policies that like any team should take to manage like the risk in their pipeline. So I think some simple steps that we try to take is making sure the testing is happening like earlier in the sprint and moving towards later in the sprint, or making sure that your tools have effective logging in there and tagging involved, so that you can tag the data and look at it later for compliance and it's available at all times, even if, let's say, the pipeline is deleted. So I think the more and more like governance, I don't think it should be thought of as like a document of what not to do, but more of as like things that you can do to make sure that you don't run into like something that's unwanted later on. What do you think, Kumar?
Yeah, I think you covered the compliance aspect from the security, quality and whatnot, but also like the role-based access that people have. Like today, if you don't offer that, there are 10 plus tools that you have in an environment, there are about 50 developers. How do you manage access across that many tools? And do you really need to provide that access to all of them and to all the tools to everybody in the first place? And do you want to manage the access? How do you maintain and manage the RBAC controls, but also user management? And you don't want to give the access to some of the sensitive tools that you have, especially you build tools and where you have source code management, your bug tracking, your deployment tools, any of them. Like you want to make sure that you're effectively managing onboarding, offboarding employees and developers in that. The second thing is it's about security, right? Most of the company security is sitting outside of the product teams. It's not embedded in the security, into product security, product development team. As a result of that, what happens is like container scanning, static code analysis, storing the passwords, keys, and everything on the vault. Sometimes people do it, sometimes they don't do it, and it becomes a challenge. And you discover these problems at the tail end of the deployment or beginning at the end after the deployment. It's a costly affair for the companies. You don't want you end up spending at least 10 times more money and the resources and effort in solving the problem than in the production, as opposed to doing it right and proactively. So governance is not a bad word. I think a lot of people think the governance is something that you're imposing something. It should be something people have to embrace the fact that it's the guardrails that you have to put in place. It's like you don't want to drive the car without brake, right? It's like same thing with DevOps and pipelines as well. When you want to move the code, you got to have some kind of guardrails. You can apply them when you need it, and you can use them when you don't need it as well, right? Make sure that you have visibility along with it. So combination of all of them with you need governance is equal, and compliance and governance equally important with respect to productivity and agility, especially when you are dealing with customer data, when you're dealing with sensitive data, when you're keeping the health records, and when you're keeping the when you're pushing the code to the largest set of audience and customers and enterprises.
Got it. Kumar, do you want to show, or Shrey, do you want to show how we do this in Opsera? I had a couple of requests for that.
Yeah, let me pull that up. So actually, let me log in from the start. So this is a quick demo of Opsera and how that can help with toolchain automation and standardization. So this is our portal. So it's a SaaS-based portal. So let me just log in.
Type of QA prod, yeah.
So Opsera has three main parts. So one is the toolchain automation, and the other is we offer the ability to build declarative pipelines from the tools that you spin up or manage in Opsera, or as tools that you have in your own environment. And lastly, it's insights and logging and blueprint for the data that's generated both in your toolchain and through the pipelines. So an example of that is, so when you go to toolchain automation, you have the ability to create your own platform and provision tools right from Opsera. So let me, for example, set up a platform here. Actually, let me edit an existing one. So, you have the ability to select whichever tool you'd like, and it's quite easy to use, and you can deploy it right from here. And once that's done, you can add this to our tool registry. And the tool registry is basically like a concept where you can manage all your configurations, information about the tool in one spot, so that they can be used in multiple pipelines. You don't have to configure it again and again. And the data in this is also then securely stored in a vault, so that the configuration is not present in the pipeline. I think another great thing here is that you can manage and create jobs, accounts, certain things that you would do in the tool from a single pane of glass and through Opsera itself. So I can show an example of that is, for example, let's take this Jenkins. So someone configured a tool, you get some information about it. You can do things like associate cost centers, licensing with the tool, and then also just create stuff like jobs right from Opsera, and then also associate accounts that you can use then in your pipelines. And then one more good thing is that oftentimes what happens is that you might have a lot of tools and they're just sitting. So you have the ability to see are they actually being used in pipeline? So is this tool, or is this tool being active? Is that useful to me? So you can see which pipelines are using the tools, when they were created and when they were last run, because there could be a scenario where this tool is spun up and then it's just not being used and it's just sitting. Kumar, feel free to add anything.
I think, yeah. If you go back to the toolchain, I would like to add a couple of points, and just for the people to understand that. So what you see is more of a tools that we publish, which are vetted, validated, but this can be completely customized by the customer, and then also have a way to add the container images. Let's say you want to bring your own SonarQube enterprise license. We have enterprise version of that. We can do so. Or instead of Anchor, you want to add a Twistlock or Sysdig or whatnot, we can easily do that, provided you give the container image. So in a nutshell, this is the more of a DevOps app store. Basically, you can come and select the tool that you want to have, just like a good iPhone, and select the app store and select the application. You can do the same thing for your developers and DevOps team, in which you can simplify the whole thing. All one-click deploy. All you have to do is, you don't have to worry about underlying infrastructure, underlying security groups, configuration, SSO integration, certificates, and your handshake. All of them are taken care of it. And you just have to come and select the image or select the tool that you wanted in the category. You can have multiple versions of that. Let's say you have 4 or 5 different teams. If they want to use one stack, great. If they don't want to use, and they want to use 2 or 3 diversified stacks, they can easily do that. And more importantly, when you go to tool registry, you can bring your own tools along with Opsera as well. It's not like everything we provision within Opsera. we encourage, and using the white box orchestration that we have, we will be able to allow you to bring the tools like your source code management or your testing framework or your ITSM tools or your collaboration tools. We don't offer certain things, and we expect you to bring those things, but things that we offer, and we encourage you to use it because it's you don't have to worry about lifecycle management. And last thing is where in which you can also define the configuration all at once and be able to reuse it multiple times. The tool registry concept is threefold. One is you can track inventory of all the DevOps tools, whether it's provision Opsera or through the environment that you have. You can bring your own tools to the mix, which we just talked about. Third one is you can configure once and reuse it multiple times in the pipelines. There is no need to write Groovy scripts, your integration codes, shell scripts, and your post like your webhooks and shared libraries, any of them.
Yeah, I think that concept of like creating and not having to like create something again and again like ties into the pipeline concept as well. In the pipeline, similarly, tool registry now we have the ability to like a catalog of pipelines. So you can either define your own pipeline template basically that your developers can easily use and create a pipeline using. Or we have a set of predefined templates, so like a CI/CD template or Salesforce template. So you can easily just use these to get kickstarted in creating a declarative pipeline. And let me just show an example of a pipeline. So this is our like your my pipeline screen. So you can see all the pipelines that you have access to or that you've created. And this is all access controlled. So certain users might have access to only view the pipeline or just run it once and not edit it and so forth. So let me just go to a sample one. So for example, this is our CI pipeline. So, over here, you can get so in the summary, you can get a quick look of basically the information about the pipeline. You can associate tags to the pipeline. So this is helpful when it comes to analytics and logging and compliance. So then you can use these tags to basically fetch logs and so forth. And then you can get the logs for basically each step in the pipeline and what happened and what was done. And this is the workflow. And the workflow is basically a UI where you can easily set up like a declarative pipeline without any coding involved. So you can easily add steps and rearrange the steps and so forth, and configure whatever tool they in this. So for example, over here, this Jenkins is configured in the tool registry, and this can be used in multiple steps. And the idea is to basically eliminate the need for having manual interaction between the pipeline steps. So for example, if there's an approval required after a certain step, you have the ability to add an approval step as well. So that someone doesn't have to come in and check if the pipeline, if that step ran or not. So they'll basically get a notification and they can approve it from there or deny it from there. Another good thing is that you have the ability to create notifications. So basically someone doesn't have to continuously monitor the pipeline, but you can easily get notifications based on what's happening in the pipeline, if there's an error or even on all activity. Feel free to add anything, Kumar.
Yeah, these pipelines can be used, and you can dynamically execute this thing through command line. We have a webhook integration. You can scheduler, or you can also can you go back to the notifications, right? And I want to cover two things. We have extensive integration to Slack. We have a bot. We have created a bot and put in the marketplace for Slack, approved by Slack. And we also have a bot for the Jira, and we have a native integration to Teams and ServiceNow. Idea is where they can easily add these steps in every step of the pipeline, or they can do it on the pipeline level. And then policy, we talked about it. And second thing is you can dynamically create the steps without writing a code. If somebody wants to understand how the pipeline is constructed, we also expose that information, and then people can download Opsera CLI from NPM and execute the pipeline through command line. They don't have to come to the Opsera UI at all. For example, DevOps team is managing and governing the portal, and then developers can execute the pipeline. Each pipeline comes with a unique identifier, and each step is a unique identifier as well. So you can control and manage it, maintain. And while we offer the flexibility, we also give the opportunity for them to build the pipeline without them writing any integration code or glue code.
Yeah, and then if there's a pipeline that the developer likes, and you can easily just view the whole configuration from here, and then you can use this configuration to basically create a template so that people in other teams can use the same template to configure like newer pipelines. Yeah, so I think one more thing with this is, so you have the ability to view the logs and the data associated with the pipeline. So you can view it both like in the pipeline step itself. So for example, you have the ability to view the console log for a particular run right there. Or we also have our insights, and you can easily just see what's happening. So this is our insight page. You have the ability to create dashboards here, in which you can add KPIs. So we offer quite a few KPIs in different categories. So you can easily just pick a KPI and you can just add it to any of your existing dashboards. And then once it's there, so let me just open up a dashboard. So and the dashboards, you can either segregate dashboards based on like a stage, or you can just have it based on projects and so forth. And there's an ability to basically filter a dashboard based on the tags that you assign to a pipeline. So over here, you have some of the KPIs, based on just from the Opsera pipeline. So for example, you can see who's executing the pipelines, what deployments are happening, how much are successful and how many are failing, or which stage in a pipeline is taking a long time. Or you can see if there's something that's like offline, how long is it taking to get that service back and restored. So basically, and you can, in each KPI, you have the ability to filter by date and apply different tags to it. So you can basically get a better slice of the information. And so along with this, you can also just get like a synopsis view of what's happening with all the pipelines. So you can see what are the projects that you've created and what pipelines in the project are present, which are running, which are failing. And then from here, you can see a pipeline, or you can also just go to what we call the blueprint. The blueprint is basically an end-to-end view of the pipeline where you can see what's happening in terms of logging in each stage of the pipeline. And if there is any specific information, for example, this is an SFDC pipeline, so you have the ability to like view the package XML part, which is part of that run. And you can create multiple blueprints and you can open them side by side to basically get a comparison view.
Yeah, can you go back to synopsis for a minute? I just want to cover one point.
Yeah.
So this is the synopsis view of, let's say you have a director of DevOps, a VP of DevOps, or maybe like a senior manager, have multiple projects. You can create all of them and have a cumulative way of getting the information. You can see how many builds and deployments gone through security stages, quality stages. It's more of a Chevron view or FedEx view, however you want to call, from the time you start the deployment, from the time it goes to the execution, and how that entire journey has been completed. You can see that information by build level, project level. And also, let's say you see that there are 12 pipelines fail out of 188. If you click on the 12, let's say, and you filter this information. Once you click on the 12, you can see the failure. Once you click on a particular, pick one of them, we'll give you the summary. And when you click on the lookup, you'll know exactly why the build is failed. So imagine that if you have to do this work internally today, it'll take at least 30 minutes an hour if you're an expert. And if you're not, otherwise you have to log into multiple tools, correlate the data, contextualize the data, and then be able to understand the issue. Just to troubleshoot the issue, it takes about a couple of hours. We are trying to simplify that. And then we want to give you the information in a manner where you can get to the root cause and be able to troubleshoot the problem very quickly. And also you can use the same blueprint for audit purpose compliance. You can give the read-only access to auditors. They can come and see the entire audit of what you have done it. And in the last 3 months, last 1 month, last 60 days, 30 days, what have you. And then they can also upload the data automatically. So no need to send multiple emails, multiple copies of data points between each other.
I think, and it's not only just, the logging is not only just in terms of, giving a blueprint. So if someone wants to specifically search for something, so we also have the logs, and you have the ability to basically search for a specific item in the log. So like if there's something like a phrase you're looking for, something like that. So like, let me just search for like success. So you can then, or this is like a simpler example, but then you can see in which log, like what happened, and you can view the full log to get a picture of what's actually happening or what's the configuration that's being used. So it basically makes pinpointing, and if there's an error, like a lot faster for a developer.
I think we can cover a lot of these things, information, but I think we would like to hear from you as well. We don't want to make it like showing our solution end to end, but we can spend another hour talk about it. But any questions, any feedback, anything particular that you have to deal with today, where in which we can where we can help each other.
Anything in the demo that particularly resonated with you guys here? All right. Or like Kumar pointed out, if you have any specific question that we did not address so far, ask us here, or feel free to connect with us offline as well. Thanks, Gautam. Gautam says he liked the flow and it's easy to understand. Thank you. I think I had a question that somebody asked earlier that could not join, Kumar and Shrey. This question about like what are the current integrations we have? What tools does Opsera integrate today?
So as you can see, we support the prominent source code management, and we also support the bunch of build and artifacts. Our goal is to, like, today we support 80% of prominent tools right out of the bat across source code management, build and artifacts, config management, security, quality, deployment, ITSM, logging and monitoring. So there are some integrations we continue to work with the existing customers, but as you can see, we support Jenkins TeamCity. We have integration to Nexus Artifactory and ECR, and as well as we have S3 bucket integration. We integration to Terraform for the certain functionality of IA infrastructure as a code, Ansible, and we have Chef and Puppet, security, quality. We talked about it, right? SonarQube, Twistlock, Anchor, and Vault, and as well as we have integration to Sysdig, JMeter, testing wise, Selenium, Cypress, and XUnit as well. Continue to add more tools there. And deployment, we support multiple tools. This is the unique thing. A lot of people just force you to either go to Spinnaker or Octopus or through another black box solutions. Here, we give the choice, like some certain tools are meant to go with the .NET workloads, and they're really good at it. Some tools are really good at blue-green deployment and rollback deployment. So, and some are monolithic, and they have normal, they just need a deployment aspect of it. And multiple clouds, we support that. And native integration, as we talked about, JiraBot and Slackbot, and we support the Microsoft Teams and as well along with ServiceNow, logging and monitoring, and we have a integration to New Relic and as well as CloudWatch and Elk Stack and Grafana and Nagios.
Thanks, Kumar. I think most of you, like more than 30% of you, said you have more than 10 plus tools. Hopefully we cover them here. If you have other tools that you use that are not on this list, let us know, because it's very easy for us to integrate new tools. Okay, I'll do a last minute call for any questions in the next few minutes. I have a question here on chat.
There's a question on the chat, actually.
Yeah. You want to take it, Kumar?
What are the critical DevOps tools and integration points in relation to increase software release velocity? Basically, it's all about like, not only it's toolchain, if you do the pipelines right, if you make it as a seamless and seamless to integration and in every step of the way, and it becomes easier. The moment you try to allow the people to write the code, it becomes challenge because everybody writes their own way of writing the code. And if you build the microservices, put it out there, it'll be easier. First of all, that's integration point. And I'll start from the toolchain. Toolchain is like your infrastructure. Next layer is basic configuration, and next layer is it's about scalability, right? That's a toolchain aspect of it. Second, once your toolchains are there, now when you construct the pipeline, integration to your build system, source code management, your approval gates, quality, security, build and deployment, and compliance governance aspects of it. And then your change management and ITSM tools. How do you keep all of them intact, and where in which customer, your internal teams can take care of, can easily add those pieces and be able to stitch them together? Or better situation would be you can create the templates and give it to them. You can guide them, but give the choice, give the flexibility, give all the pieces that they want, but also navigate them through the some kind of like standard templates where they can use it and be able to improve their deployment cycles, release velocity, so that they don't have to spend a lot of time writing the glue code. They can focus on taking the template, connect to the repository, off they go, right? They will be able to move the code faster. You can also see the entire thing. If they don't follow the gates, follow the thresholds, they will not be able to move forward to the next level. So you can put the gates in such a way, you allow them to go through the builds without having you be in the middle of it, but also put the gates in such a way that they have to follow the certain guidelines. Like you want to make sure all the testing and security and build qualities are done at a certain percentage. You can enforce that based on the application, based on the release, based on the compliance, requirements that you have. I know it's too many things that are involved, but it's not there is no one direct answer to that, but it has to be done at multiple stages, multiple layers. But I think, we gave some pointers. If not, we can connect offline and share more information as well.
Thanks, Kumar. Thanks, Ifyani. I don't want to butcher your first name, so I keep saying your last name, but thanks for the question and for responding back. All right. Looks like we have a shy audience today, but Kumar and Shrey, I'll put their email addresses on the chat here, kumar@opsera.io and shrey@opsera.io. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact them directly. Also visit opsera.io for our future events. We do these on a monthly basis, huddles and office hours, where it's a friendly group of DevOps peers sharing best practices and challenges. We will publish the next topics on our website. Also sign up for our blog or other ebooks to see, to stay tuned with the latest, both from our solution point of view and also the DevOps best practices. And if you want to sign up for a demo, go to opsera.io and schedule a demo with us. We're happy to go into more detail. Kumar or Shrey or somebody from our team will walk you through any of these particular aspects, toolchain automations or pipelines or insights. There's a lot of value that Opsera offers to help speed up software teams and software delivery. So we are happy to share more in a one-on-one, personalized for your company situation. Thanks, everybody. It was great having you here. Thanks for your time.